Hello, I'm Mark Blunden and this is the Standards Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, how Apple's Vision Pro infiltrated a wedding, but first... A train operator in China claims to have reached a record top speed for railways, and there's plans for it to go faster than a plane. The T-Flight reportedly touched 387 miles per hour on a short stretch of test track, which beats Japan's MLX-01 maglev, currently the fastest such train, by 26 miles per hour, by using a system of magnets to levitate carriages instead of sitting directly on the rails. China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation reckons they can hit a massive 1,243 miles per hour as part of a hyperloop track. Skeptics might say that's a touch optimistic, but if the claimed development goes to plan, it would mean slashing roughly the equivalent of a train journey from London to Edinburgh to just 30 minutes. Next, the uncomplicated, very analogue world of Paddington Bear is being catapulted into the digital realm with a new immersive experience in London.
It's an interactive walkthrough, multi-sensory dive into the world of Paddington Bear based on the Studio Canal movies. It's an immersive experience in many ways, in that our audience can weave into the different iconic environments that Paddington exists in, and they can undertake a number of activities and games to help save Marmalade Day, which is what Paddington is trying to put on.
That's David Hutchinson, CEO of the Path Entertainment Group, which is staging the show at the South Banks County Hall in a set inspired by Mr. Gruber's antique shop.
We use quite a lot of projection mapping to visually transport the audience from one terrain to another. We also use LED screens to give a sense of landscape on top of theatrical set props and costumes that are being designed from our creative team that are all from sort of theatre background.
Scenes include our hero's eponymous West London train station and the Brown's house at number 32 Windsor Gardens.
We use a technology called QLab, which uses a number of different sensors, so that when an audience go into a room, they trigger certain motion or visual triggers, and it allows the light, sound, or the digital aspects to start and stop. So it really is a experience that's driven by the audience's movements and where they decide to go.
And we're being assured it won't be anything like a certain fake Wonka-themed catastrophe recently.
We're in a major central London building, County Hall, working with major studios that are very, very, very protective and look after this brand very, very well. But that the expectation of the audiences has been at the top of our thinking creatively and logistically right from the start.
Now, could there be one final act for NASA and Intuitive Machines' hobbled Odysseus moonlander, which is currently beached on the lunar surface after toppling over? There's now a plan to power down the probe through the fortnight-long lunar night, with temperatures plunging to a bracing minus 150 degrees Celsius, with hopes it can be rebooted afterwards. They've been trying to remain upbeat about the mission, which was meant to drill for water around the lunar South Pole before the 4-metre-tall hexagonal cylinder fell over. But it did send back some photos of its landing, and has amazingly managed to beam 350 megabytes of scientific data to Earth, including radio frequency information. Next, research by Imperial College London reveals there are now more than 1 billion people worldwide who are obese. The study published in The Lancet suggests that around 159 million children and adolescents and 879 million adults are very overweight, in what scientists call an epidemic of obesity. Globally, the obesity rate more than doubled in women, nearly tripled in men, and more than quadrupled in girls and boys between 1990 and 2022. The groom wore Apple's Vision Pro headset to his San Francisco wedding, and the bride was, well, not massively impressed, judging by one of the photographs. 24-year-old software engineer Jacob Wright, who works at AI startup RunPod, was an early adopter of the $3,500 goggles and left his new bit of tech kit in the car for the ceremony, but felt compelled to don the VR headset for their reception. Was it all a laugh? Wright's wife, Cambry, looks a little perturbed in one of the photographs as her husband pinches the air, but assures local news site SF Gate she found the whole incident funny. Black Mirror style, Wright wore the headset at the reception to capture their first moments of married life, including guests dancing. Let's go to the ads. Stay there for more news from the world of tech and science, plus why thousands of itchy seals have flopped onto an English beach. Why not hit follow in the meantime and give us a rating. Welcome back. A study conducted by the 3 Royal Colleges of Physicians finds doctors are seeing a rise in patients seeking help with health conditions due to mouldy homes, pollution and unemployment. The poll reveals a significant amount of the medics' workloads is being taken up by patients' lack of access to healthy food, smoking and obesity. The survey of 3,689 doctors across Britain found 85% of respondents are concerned about the impact of health inequalities on their patients. Just say that many of these negative factors are driving health inequalities and have called on the government to act. And finally, more than 2,500 grey seals have communed on a Norfolk beach to molt their winter fur, so their new coats are ready for spring-summer 24. They've been slipping out of the North Sea at Horsey and are clustered together to conserve heat during the annual process, which begins around 2 to 3 months after breeding. Moulting takes roughly 6 weeks to complete, with seals ridding themselves of dead hair by scratching and rubbing against the sand or rocks. But visitors, be warned! Do not get too close, as seals have sharp teeth and could give you a painful nip. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the latest news, interviews and analysis from the Standard Podcast here in London. We'll be back on Monday at 1 p.m. See you then.